Hello and welcome to the Undet Toolbox version 2 features video series. This video will lead you how to get started using Undet Toolbox software, and it includes demonstration of Undet Toolbox interface, which basically consists of two elements, ribbon menu and Undet Toolbox Palette, creation and start of new project. We will talk about data files, import, grouping, decimation level and some settings, and general concepts of the software. So let's go now into Autocad Environment and see how it looks like over there. We are in Autocad Environment right now, and after the software installation, you should see Undet Toolbox tab in the ribbon menu that sits next to native AutoCAD tabs. And if for some reasons you do not see it, try to switch the workspace for once, and the Undet Toolbox tab will appear, and after that it will be active for all the rest of the software openings. So let's open it, and basically this tab consists of the new release features like smartboard, automated feature extraction, meshing, deformation analysis and orthophoto creation, but it also has some native AutoCAD tools that we believe are most common in point cloud workflows. It also has some visibility management tools, but you have to be aware that all these features are only within the ribbon menu, and if you would like to call them from the AutoCAD Classic workspace, you should use command line, which is not very comfortable. So try to use any other workspace environment in order to call ribbon menu features. Let's turn on the Undet Toolbox Palette. Click over here. So the Undet Toolbox Palette will appear, and at the beginning you will have only the project tab which will be active. Other tabs are going to be active after we will create or open Undet project. This palette could be popping out like this when you move the cursor on it, or you could keep it stay constant over here. So let's try to create a new project at the beginning and see how it looks like. So when you start a new project, a new dialog box will appear, which will ask you to select your project type, and you can work with the LiDAR data, topographical data like corridor mapping or 3D city modeling, buildings, infrastructure objects or plants, or some detail scanned objects. And what are these project types about? So choosing one of the project type defines some optimal performance settings. It also predefines some automated feature extraction settings, but it is most about your point cloud decimation level. So in general, you will have two data structures. One data structure is your entire and huge point cloud, with all the scanning position and with all the information which is in the background, and the other data structure is your decimated point cloud, and your point cloud is going to be decimated according to your project type. So if you would choose detail scanned objects, your decimation level is going to be 1 point in 1 centimeter. Buildings, your decimation level is going to be 1 point in every 3 centimeters. In topography, 1 point in every meter, and LiDAR, 1 point in every 10 meters. So you'll have a decimated point cloud, which will be very easily manageable. It will allow you to have performance, but anytime you will need to go for some details and see exact how your information looks like and see very detailed point cloud, you will be able to just see all point clouds by creating view sections and activating your full point cloud data which is in the background. So let's choose, let's say, building. After selecting a project type, a dialog box of the new project will appear in which you can add some files, group them and create new project. So the most easiest way to create new project is to simply add some files over here. So I'll pick several files. So these are already registered files because Undet works only with registered point cloud data. So these are raw but registered. So I just added several files and simply create new project, click on this icon over here, and the indexing will start. This is the most easiest way to create the project, but let's go for some details and let's create a more advanced project, and let's group point cloud data before indexing. So I'll add several groups over here, and let's say grouping is very nice feature when you have a bigger territory scanned with several buildings, or one building with several floors, because later on you will be able to easily manage separate groups independently, turn them on, turn them off, change coloring settings and visibility. So let's say in this case I have some outside scans, I also have some inside scans of the big house, which will include several floors. So let's say I have some basement over here, maybe first floor, let's say second floor, and attic. I also have a inside scan of a small house. So yeah, I just grouped my files in these logical groups, and I'll simply click on the outside now, and I'll add some files over here. So I'll select this project and the input data. Here I have classified them as well. So I have the outside scans over here. So simply select all and open. So see, my outside scan is now full of scanning position, and I'll define the file type. So as you see, we can import LAS, PTS, Faro files, Regal files, Z+F files, E57 or any TXT file, comma or space delimited with natural colors or intensity included. So let's say in this case I have XYZ plus intensity space delimited. So now all my files are within this format. I'll select now basement and add some files for basement as well. In the same way, I'll simply select all and define the file type XYZ intensity space delimited. And I will do all the same with the rest of the files over here. Let's see, first floor again, and select the data file. I'll do the same with the second floor, attic, inside of the small house, and then I'll click create project to start indexing. I'm not going to show you indexing process because it is time taking, and I'll just open already indexed file of this project, right? So I'll quit new project creation, and I'll open you already indexed file, which is Taurus. The point cloud project is now opened, and as you see, this is without colors yet, into the black and white mode with a slight transparency, which enables you to already identify some edges and other structure within the point cloud. You can turn on and turn off the transparency over here. Without it, it looks like this. So sometimes with transparency it looks much better. And in general, 2D black and white mode is recommended for raster images processing or for finishing final 2D drawings like annotating or hatching. If you're working with 3D objects, especially with such like point cloud, you should go into 3D color mode. So I'll turn on the Undet Toolbox ribbon menu, and you can choose to switch your modes over here, 3D color mode and 2D black and white mode. And 3D color mode will automatically turn on the hardware accelerator. It will change the visual style to wireframe, and it will enable to color your point cloud by some predefined colors. So I'll turn the 3D color mode now, and I have my point cloud colored by intensity. And you see sometimes the 3D orbit just jumps somewhere, which is really irritating, especially when you're working with bigger projects. So we implemented a little bit, edited the 3D orbit. You can select it and click somewhere on the point cloud to set the 3D orbit center around you want to rotate your objects. So this is much better sometimes, like this. And let's start from the project tab over here, which has all the properties of the project. So the project type is building infrastructure, which means that when we created this project, we selected this project type, which has a decimation level of 1 point cloud point in 3 centimeters. The scale, max point count, so it means how many points you have in this project. So almost 201 million, so 200 millions points over here. And coordinate system, intensity values. The coordinate system is original, and you can move to optimize for 3D modeling. It is as well recommended to move your coordinate system to optimize for 3D modeling if you're working with huge 2D drawings as well, because if your original coordinate systems consist of 6 or 7 numbers, the AutoCAD likes to crash or lag, so you can anytime still come back to the original and just proceed the processing in optimize for 3D modeling. So it is very helpful feature sometimes. The maximum visible point count, this is our variable. The AutoCAD variable is over here. I'll click options, and in 3D modeling tab you have maximum point count points per drawing, which is 1.5 millions now, and you can increase it up to 10 millions, at least in 2014 version. So keep it 1.5 million. So it means that now I see some random points which were decimated by AutoCAD, and I see up to 1.5 million. But whenever you will create a view section, which is over here, whenever you will cut a piece of point cloud, don't matter, you can cut entire point cloud, you will then activate our decimation, which was according to your project type, and it has 1 point in 3 centimeters in buildings. All right. So let's go into view section tab right now over here, and you will have here several view section creation options, which means that you will cut out a piece of point cloud, cut out the region of point cloud, your area of interest, which is going to be automatically listed over here in the view section list. And you can do it with several features, let's say by rectangle, by simple line or box, or by picking up a point. You can also slice point cloud with some coplanar plane to your active coordinate system, or by simply picking up a surface. And you can also define thickness value if you're using line or a coplanar slicing to create view sections. A little bit below you will have data files in Activeview section. If you remember, we classified our data files. We grouped our scans into outside, inside of the big house, and inside of the small house. And now we can easily turn them separately on and off like this. We'll also have the data files tab over here, which are the same data files. Let's expand them. And as you see, you can here turn off and on separate scanning positions as well if you would like to. Yeah. Even lower we have logical classes in Activeview section, and by default you will have one unclassified logical class, which means that this is your entire point cloud, and you can anytime turn it off and turn it on. So you can do it anytime when you prefer to see some drawing elements or some 3D elements, etc. Even lower we have several icons and an indicator. I'll talk about this indicator a little bit later. And these icons means that you are coloring now what is marked over here. So the L letter is marked. It means that we're coloring now logical classes. So we can choose a different coloring option. Let's say to color it by height. So I'm coloring entire point cloud now, or by some source color if we would have some pictures, but we don't in this project, or some some custom colors, etc. Yeah, so let's keep it intensity. If we choose D, it means that now we're coloring data files, and the coloring option for logical classes is already inactive. And let's see, we can now color separately some scanning positions over here. See, like this. Yeah, let's keep it none again. And if you choose V, it means that you will color your view sections, but we do not have any view sections yet, so let's create some. I'll choose coloring of the logical class to see a better view by the intensity. And I want to cut out this, let's say, building, so I can really quickly check where is the small house and where is the house I scan. This is like this. All right. If you would like, you can position your point cloud using, say, some options like view by line, view by object, or view by UCS. So I'll choose now view by line. So to position your view according to your needs. So let's say I will position it like this now, and I'll cut the first view section using rectangle of this entire point cloud. Say like this. And as you may notice, suddenly the density of this point cloud became higher. I will deactivate this view section for a moment. You see, it looks like this in the preview mode. Yes. And I will activate now the view section created. Yep. The density is much higher because when we create a view section with any of these options, we are activating our data structure already, not the AutoCADs. And this means that we have now indexed point cloud according to this project type, which means that we have 1 point in every 3 centimeters, and we are allowed to visualize up to 6 million points over here. So this is how it looks like. Yeah. Let's say we could now decrease the view section and make it smaller. Let's go to view section tab and make it even smaller. Looks like this now. And let's make it even more smaller. So what's happening finally? You see the indicator turn to green. It means that now we are visualizing all scanning information, so all scan points. So whenever the indicator is red, it means that you are in the preview mode, which means that you are either, I will deactivate the view section, you are either in the entire huge point cloud, which depends on the native AutoCAD decimation, or if you are in the active view section and you have, let's say, a bigger view section, the indicator is still red, it means that you're still in the preview mode, but the indexing and the data structure is now ours, and it is up to this value, 1 point in 3 centimeters. And anytime you will make your view section smaller because you want to go for some details and investigate a particular part of your point cloud, let's say like this. Yeah, let's make it even smaller. And your indicator turns to green, it means that you are visualizing now all scanned points. So basically you have two modes: preview mode, so when the indicator is red, and the all scanned points, all information when the indicator is green. Yep. So if you want to go for some details, you can create a smaller view section to have the green indicator, so no points are hidden over here. Or you can also increase this value, let's say up to 8 millions, or up to 12 millions, or up to let's say 20 millions. In general, we do not recommend to use it more than 20 millions. because the AutoCAD likes to crash and lag, but of course it depends on your hardware. So if you are using good hardware, you can have this value much bigger. All right, so this is how our view section looks like. All right, let's deactivate it. So let's create now a view section with line, right? And I'll simply choose now line. Before I will define line thickness. Okay, let's say 1 meter, it is alright. And simply I'll decide where I want to cut. Let's say I want to see maybe a facade structure of this building. And just one more thing, after I select line, we have several options. We have defined thickness already, but we can choose now to set up UCS automatically on the view section, to rotate as the view automatically, or to do everything, set up UCS and rotate as the view, or do nothing. So let's say I'll choose A, which means that when I will cut a view section over here, it will set up UCS for me automatically and it will rotate the view. So I just created view section, you see the view is rotated and the UCS is set it up on the view section over here. And again, I have the green indicator, which means that I see all scan points and no points are missing. So all the information is in front of me. And as you already saw, it is very easily to use the groups in Gizmo to manage the scanning position of the view section. Yeah, like this. Yep. And again, you can edit this view section using these tools. Let's say clip inside, clip outside. So I'll simply use clip inside like this. You can undo things using this feature over here. You can also define different coloring settings. I just selected the coloring setting dialog box over here. I have here a preview result. And I'm coloring here by intensity. So let's say we can choose a different coloring scheme. So this one. We can also increase interval number. We can also choose to use natural break or not use. Well, natural break is a very great option because it automatically divides those intervals into regions that the value are most likely to change. You can also do it manually and let's say use these intervals and move those intervals manually. I'll choose fixed number. Some other features to set your coloring settings of the intensity, but let's say it is working for us fine. We can even check the pixel size of the image and increase it or decrease it if we want, but let's say it's okay. So let's press OK, and see, we have colored now this wall by a different value. Right, let's deactivate it again. This is our entire point cloud colored by intensity now, according to this coloring option we just chosen. Right. Talking about the logical classes. So if the unclassified logical class is your entire point cloud, which you can turn on and turn off anytime, so you can group and classify your point cloud within the AutoCAD environment simply by creating view sections. Let's say I'll cut, let's say, this region. So here I have some vegetation, nothing that is interesting for me. So I can easily move this logical class by simply clicking over here, classify, or going to logical classes and add class over here. So I'll simply choose classify and say I will write down vegetation. Like this. And I will classify this point cloud into another logical classes, which means that I can anytime turn it off and turn it on. So let's see how it looks like now. Let's deactivate this view section. you see my entire point cloud, and this is the logical class which is colored by none. Let's say we can color it by green, so this is the vegetation. We can anytime turn it off from entire point cloud, and we can clean up our point cloud like this, or we could divide separate structures, let's say like separate buildings or separate floors, and export those logical classes and share a workload with your colleagues, etc. So in general, this is the main interface of the palette. One more thing maybe I can talk with you is I'll activate one more view section. You can anytime create print screens. So by simply clicking over here, generate an image, you will create a print screen of your point cloud on your current view like this, yeah. So if you need it. So the activate and deactivate things of the view section, that you can do the same with the right mouse click over here, remove, activate, and so on, or do the same over here. And this is the end of Undet Toolbox version 2 getting started video tutorial. We just looked through the Undet project creation process, how to index files, how to group them prior indexing, how to manage data files, how to manage visibility and coloring settings. And for the end, I would like to talk a little bit about the general concept. So you see a notification saying merged and decimated versus separate and full. What does it mean? So let's say if you have a scanner that captures million at a time and later on you decimate point clouds, you end up in losing information of details and unclear geometry of small objects. Let's say you already have an initial scanning error plus adjustment error, and if you merge decimated point clouds, some captured elements might disappear at all or duplicate. In such case, you lose the ability to check if this is an adjustment error or a real as-built geometry. Merged point clouds end up in overlapping intensities values. Overlapping intensity value disturbs to clearly identify objects. Ability to visualize intensity only from one scanning position allows to see true values. The same situation with the natural colors. Different scanning positions end up in different angles, different lighting, and different time of the day. In merged point cloud, you lose scanning position and ability to see objects just as if you were standing right where the laser scanning captured the scan data. We're talking here about the Trueview mode, and you can watch another video tutorial which is called Trueview Navigation. And if you would like to see point clouds just as if you were standing where the laser scanning captured the scan data, you do not need to merge point clouds in such case. So we want our users to import full information from laser scanners, registered but undecimated and unmerged scanning positions, and the toolbox itself will decimate point cloud, providing you with high performance. But our decimation does not mean that you lose information, because anytime you can control your level of visible points, and if you need to go into details and visualize all scan points, you can do it just with one click. The only project restriction is your hard disk size. Point cloud visibility on your display depends on several variables regarding in which mode you are. So until you create Undet view section, you are still in native Autocad preview mode, which depends on point cloud point max variable and point cloud density value. At the moment you will create Undet view section, you will also activate Undet data structure, which depends on chosen project type. So if prior indexing you have chosen detailed scanned objects, your decimation level of Undet data structure is going to be 1 point in 1 centimeters. If you have chosen buildings, your decimation level is going to be 1 point in every 3 centimeters, and so on for topography and LiDAR, where decimation is 1 point in 1 meter and 1 point in every 10 meters. But you can also change point cloud density value in Undet data structure as well. You should go here into visibility management tools and use the slider to change density value for Undet data structure. If you would like to see all scan points and activate this dataset, you need to have an active view section and decrease the size of your section or increase this value of the maximal visible point count. So whenever you will have less points in your view section than there is defined in this maximal visible point count variable, you will activate all point cloud dataset and no hidden points are going to be in the background, so you will visualize all scan points. So to conclude, whenever the indicator is red, it means that you are in the preview mode, no matter in the Autocad preview mode or in the Undet preview mode, but when the indicator is green, it shows that you see all scanned data and that you have an Activeview section created. Thanks for watching this video tutorial.